welcome back to Cindy's Library. And today I am going to finally wrap up Les Miserables, which I got through by the end of March, right on schedule, mostly thanks to listening to it, which was wonderful to have for work. So, I've already talked about, let's see, I have already talked about parts 1 and 2, Fantine and Cosette. So part 3, Marius. Marius, we get the whole history between Marius's father and grandfather and how they politically did not get along and everything that resulted with regards to Marius never growing up with his father, and then after his father's death, learning all about his father, his argument with his grandfather and leaving. So lots of detail going into all of that. And along with Marius, we meet the friends of the ABC. And we don't just get Enjolras and, what's his name? The one who admires Enjolras so much but doesn't really believe in anything and is always drunk. Those are the ones that stand most out in the musical. But we get full dossiers on all the major players in the ABC. And we also get the whole incident with Jean Valjean accidentally running into the Thénardiers and everything that happens with that, and how Marius gets involved with that, and how Javert gets involved with that, and how Marius figures out that Thénardier is the one who saved his father, and yet he is a complete scoundrel, not worth his time, and yet he made a promise. Well, the one thing he has from his father is a short will. One of the things in it saying, if you ever come across Thénardier, do what good for him that you can. And yet the guy's a crook. So what is Marius supposed to do? Fortunately, all's well that ends well, but one of the most tense parts there. Another thing we get is more about the Thénardier family, which leads into part 4, which is the Rue Plumet Idole and the Rue Saint-Denis epic. So we get Marius rediscovering where Cosette is, and they fall in love with each other, which is fortunate because otherwise Marius is a little bit creepy. He's so intense. But, of course, things get spoiled. And Jean Valjean is warned away from the main residence where he and Cosette are living, which is problematic for Marius because he doesn't know where Cosette is, even after Éponine helped him find her. And speaking of Éponine and Marius, it's not like in the musical at all. They have zero, well, Marius has zero feeling for Éponine. I mean, sure, he pities her, but beyond that, the only reason he kisses Éponine's forehead after she dies is because she made him promise, and he's thinking of Cosette the entire time he is doing it. which tells you something. As for Eponine's side, at the last she admits she was maybe a little in love with him. So I suspect it may have been a bit more than that, just because Eponine's the one who sort of scared Jean Valjean and Cosette away. And she's also she steals a letter from Cosette to Marius, and she also arranges things so Marius will go to the barricade so they will die together. So, yeah. We also get more about the rest of the Thénardier family. Azuma, well, she's still hanging around like Eponine. For whatever reason, Madame Thénardier, she actually does have some actual feeling for her two daughters, but she has 3 sons, the oldest of whom is, you guessed it, Gavroche. Don't know how long he has been on the streets by now, but it has been a while. And it's actually thanks to Gavroche that his father is able to escape after being rounded up by Javert. So go figure on that. Have a nice episode of him running into his 2 little brothers. We never learn their names, I think. And it's an episode where he kind of takes them under his wing and finds them a safe place to hide underneath a statue of Napoleon on an elephant. Or inside, I guess I should say, the elephant part of this statue. It's a nice episode, and it's sad because Gavroche dies, of course, and I don't know that things are going to turn out well for the 2 youngest boys. They've sort of been misplaced by everyone. I'll give the Thénardiers the credit of saying they found someone to take care of them, but she got arrested too, and so, yeah. There's a whole interlude where Victor Hugo talks about street children in Paris. And there's plenty of political interludes as well about revolutions, good revolutions, bad revolutions, about Louis Philippe, and the good things about him and the bad things about him. And a revolution that will come closer to the time of writing than the one they're talking about here. Given all this talk of revolution, I can see why some quarters might not be very happy about that. Oh, but yeah. Going back to Eponine I will still give her the credit. She does save Marius's life. Interesting that in part 5, Jean Valjean, he of course gets out of Gavroche the letter for Cosette. It was Gavroche that is sent with it, not Eponine. And Gavroche, well, the whole purpose was to try and get him out of danger, but sadly still doesn't work. But yeah, Jean Valjean figures everything out between Marius and Cosette, and he goes to the barricades. Interestingly enough, even though he's obviously a sharp shot, as he proves, he refuses to take any lives. Instead, he's busy doing everything he can to help save lives. And at the end, of course, he goes with Marius into the sewer, which is a lot more harrowing than in the musical, because not only is it a complete maze, but there's quicksandy parts, which is very much a problem. and only someone like Jean Valjean could have gotten through there. So, yes, we do get the whole description of the Paris sewers, including how they were and how they've been updated since this time that the novel takes place. And we get the final confrontation with Javert. Oh, going back to Enrollis, he does get some great speeches through part 4 and part 5, both great. You get back to Marius, he is taken back to his grandfather. They reconcile, which is rather nice. And he gets to marry Cosette, and Jean Valjean does tell Marius about his past, but while Marius doesn't overtly say anything against it, he does kind of push Jean Valjean out, which of course is tragic because when he finds out the whole truth, Jean Valjean did not kill Javert back at the barricade, and he did not steal from Monsieur Madeleine, being Monsieur Madeleine himself. And Jean Valjean was the one who rescued him from the barricade. And it's too late. Jean Valjean is already near death. But excellent, excellent ending. And I'm so glad that I read Les Miserables finally. There are some sections I do not know how eager I am going to be to reread. If I do any rereading in the near term, it's going to be certain parts that focus on the main story, I think. Yeah, if I decide to read it in 10 years or so, which is entirely possible given how wonderful this story is, I may or may not read all of Victor Hugo's digressions, because he does like digressions. And yet the digressions always have a point. So, anyway, that is Les Miserables. I can highly, highly recommend it. And it's not quite so miserable as you might think it is, although there's plenty of misery going on in there. And poor Jean Valjean, even at the end, he feels like he has to be cast out from society and cut off from everyone because he's been too tainted because of his past for stealing a loaf of bread. Now, granted, he's done some things since then, but still. And I love the bishop. That is one digression I do not mind. 50 pages at the beginning about the bishop. I'm okay with that. So, anyway, that's all I have on Les Miserables. I would love to hear down below if you have read Les Miserables yourself, and if so, what you thought, what your favorite parts were, who some of your favorite characters were. Mine's definitely Jean Valjean, at least for this read-through. It's a wonderful, wonderful character, along with the bishop. So, thank you for stopping by Cindy's Library, and until next time, hope you all stay safe and healthy, and as always, happy reading!